Can we talk for a minute about our Integrating Heart and Mind workshop?
Absolutely. I'm excited. It's coming up in the fall of 2024.
I'm so excited. We changed the format to make it more accessible to people with like work schedules and personal schedules. And so this time we're going to do it 3 hours on a Friday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at, and 5 hours on Saturday for 2 different weeks in September.
Yeah, it's so great. Like if you're finding yourself stuck in like sticky bad patterns or having communication issues or something like that, or if you want to just like get closer and trust yourself or your partner more, this is the workshop for you.
Yeah, and individuals are welcome, couples are welcome. If you're interested in really thinking through how to serve yourself well inside of your relationships, then we've built a workshop that will support you in finding the ways that are just right for you.
To sign up, head over to our website at whydoesmypartner.com/events.
We hope you'll join us. Welcome to the Why Doesn't My Partner podcast.
I'm Jules.
I'm Vickey.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met through our training and practice of relational life therapy. Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients. We're going to bring those questions here.
And together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions. This podcast is not a substitute for therapy. If something you hear in this episode stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
We also love to hear your questions, so don't forget to go over to whydoesmypartner.com and leave us a question of your own. Here's today's question. Why doesn't my partner validate what I'm feeling when I'm upset?
Because your partner's too upset.
Well, I was thinking they don't really know what you're feeling.
Okay.
I was just thinking they don't like you right now.
There's that too. Yeah. It is so, that is so true. I really want to
really
go
is.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they don't like you right now.
You know, I'm thinking about that for a minute because when James gets upset, I really have to like come into like I
have to work.
I have to work to be able to really hear him. Hearing him doesn't.
I don't.
You can just hear him when he's upset.
Oh yeah, but I have a subconscious rule that says I'm here to appease you. So if Gabe's going to tell me he's upset, everything in my world stops, and he's all that matters. And I'm not saying that's a good thing either, because it doesn't come from my connected brain, but that's my default.
Like it, though.
He probably
shout out to Gabe. He probably likes that.
Yeah.
No, I have to work. I have to work at it.
Interesting.
If he's upset, especially if he's upset about something in general, it's a little bit easier.
But if it's connected to you,
if it was connected to me, if it's connected to me, I have to actually like breathe and feel the floor underneath me and be like, and I have to give myself a little pep talk. Jules, this is not about you right now. You need to find out what's upsetting him. I have to give myself that little pep talk. If I don't do that, likely I'm going to tell him he's wrong about being upset. I'm going to tell him that, I'm
going to be straight up dismissive. I'm just going to be straight up dismissive. I'm probably even going to make it about me.
Yeah, you might swirl it around and go, oh, you're upset. Let me tell you, buddy, what is upsetting.
Okay.
Yeah. So why does our partner not validate our feelings when we're upset? Because that's the most normal way people fight.
What do you mean?
I mean, that's the most common fight. Like, think about the people who come into your office. It's two people not validating each other's upset feelings.
Right. Okay.
Like that would be the most normal way, Americans, at least in my experience. And I don't just see people from America. People come to me from all over the world. So this is not, I can't speak for every culture or whatever, but I would say that is a very, very, very common experience that I bear witness to when people come in to work with me. Is there are two people who are upset, who are wishing the other person was validating their feelings and having that not happen simultaneously, by the way.
Right. Well, because each one is stuck in their own stuff.
And here's the problem. We have two speakers.
Yes.
And no one is listening.
Right. No one's hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because that part's hard.
Right. And we can't validate what we don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I want to like tease out the word validate here.
I was wondering if we were going to go there.
I like
hope
this.
We do. I like this where we're going. Tease out the word validate.
Because I think it's different to say, why doesn't my partner understand when I'm feeling upset than to say, why doesn't my partner validate what I'm feeling when I'm upset? Your partner may have a really, really, really different subjective reality than you do.
Mm-hmm.
And they may not be able to validate what you're feeling, but they may be able to understand what you're feeling. Right. And so I think like, what are we asking of our partner here is also a really big piece of this.
I think a lot of times when I hear people talk about, I want them to validate my feelings, a lot of times what we actually want is for them to validate my version of reality.
Yes.
I want you to agree that the story I'm making up about what this has been is the right version of the truth.
Yes.
And I won't trust that you're really on my side. I won't trust that you're really hearing me. I won't trust that you're really with me unless you tell me I'm right about how I perceived it.
Yeah, because go ahead, Vickey.
I was just going to echo what Jules is saying with it's not one theory, is that it's not just about validate my feelings, it's validate the story in my head, validate my reality, which if you're validating the story in my head, that means my feelings are valid too.
Well, it could be as simple as say, like if we want to work on doing what we're being asked to do here, right? So if we want to do that, it's I can understand how you would feel that way. Given all of this information, it makes sense to me with this story that you're making up that you would feel this. I can validate it in that angle, but I'm not going to like validate your experience at the expense of also my own. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about moments when it's gone really well. What I can do actually is validate both without discounting me. So if I'm going really well, it may be that I don't totally agree with 100% with the story I'm just making up. I may not, but I could say something like, whatever it is that happened, here's one that is actually something that will come up for us. Because in past versions of our relationship, I'm really working on it. I have no doubt, hun, that I'm not perfect. He listens, so I'm talking to him directly. Sweetie, I have no doubt that I'm far from perfect on this. But at one point, I was super manipulative and controlling in our relationship. And that's not true anymore. I've really worked on it. But there are moments when he might say, you're trying to get me to think this, or you're trying to get me to feel this, or you want something from me.
Yeah.
Here's how I might validate that. Even if it was not what was happening right then, I really didn't care how he answered, like whatever. I might say, of course, it makes total sense. I did that for years.
Right.
And if I were doing it right now, sweetie, I would be just as pissed as you are right now. I just validated the shit out of him.
That happens a lot. James and I have that too, where what comes up for him often is we have a history of me behaving a certain way. Right. And so because of that history, there's an emotion, there's a feeling, there's a fear that shows up inside of our relationship. And he needs me to know that has shown up again, that there's a shadow of it, that the history is present. And if I can validate that I understand that, that's like, okay. Right. Like it calms everything. That has been your experience for years. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll even do a double check. Like it could be I am doing that. Hold on. Let me see. Right. Because that can be validating too. But I think that takes a lot of skill. It takes skill.
I was just going to say, it takes work.
Well, it takes a choice. That choice is a hard choice to make. It's a very selfless choice to make. In that moment,
I am in service of him, not me. If I'm going to validate his version of reality, if I'm going to validate his feeling or feelings, whatever his thought process is, then what my experience of it is actually irrelevant, not permanently, but for this moment. For this moment, I have to let go of all of that and not worry about it.
When James and I have had our best fights, our best meaning like the most growthful, that they have been hard, they have been struggles, and we have moved through them, and our relationship has transformed because of them. Those best fights, right? When we have had those fights, I have found not 100% of the time, but at least 50, maybe more % of the time, I have had to put myself aside, at least in the moment, to be there to really hear him. What is his pain? What is happening for him? What does he need me to show up? In what way? What accountability do I need to take? Right? Even if it's the form of accountability, like I have done that in the past. Right? Like what, how do I need to show up like that? And then tomorrow, right? Tomorrow I can circle back to me. But today I need to be here for him.
Yeah. And Rebecca, do you think if I asked James, does he put himself aside and listen to your pain in those fights? Do you think he'd tell me yes?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said 50%, right? Like it's not 100%. There's a shift. And sometimes one of us goes first. There's a conscious choice about, it's kind of like who's in more pain right now.
Totally.
Right?
That who can will themselves to make the choice.
Right. Who has the capacity to choose, and who is in so much pain that it's going to just get explosive.
They can't choose it.
They can't choose, right? So that's who, and we both can go there at different times. So the other puts themselves in service and listens. And then later, when things are more, when that person has been heard, when they feel understood,
separated by more than 24 hours, if at all possible.
Yes. Don't stay up all night trying to figure this out.
No.
Right? Like,
and definitely don't do it on the heels of a validation.
Oh gosh, no. That's the best way to like expunge the entire work that you have just done. Yeah. We flip back and forth.
So why doesn't my partner validate when I'm feeling hurt? Well, it's really hard. They may not know how. They may have not been able to make the U-turn. They may not have chosen the choice, right? The other thought I had that's coming up about this is it kind of depends on how often you're wanting to share hurt feelings. So if you share upset feelings a lot, even not about them necessarily, but just often, it may be they're tired.
I have a history of that. Yeah. I wear him out.
Validating them because they're like,
tired.
I'm done with the validation at this point, and you go ahead and bitch about the world if you need to. I'm going to be over here watching Star Trek.
Or I asked him to validate it 10 years ago and I'm still repeating it. And he's like, why are we having the same conversation?
Right.
Because I need to hear that you get it. He's like, but I told you I got it 10 years ago.
Oh my God. I love that you're saying this, Vickey. No, this is huge, because what happens if we are being validated and we're not taking it in?
Yeah.
So it could it could be that actually your partner is validating and you're having trouble receiving that validation. I love that came up. I hadn't even thought about it.
So often.
It happens all the time. Yeah, so there's a lot that could be going on there.
I think that's a good place for us to land today.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Take care. Grow awkwardly.
That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner?
We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio, and that you'll follow the show.
To go deeper, join us at our boot camp. You'll find the next date at whydoesmypartner.com.
Did you know you could ask us your question?
Your questions are relational gold.
Go to whydoesmypartner.com to either write in or record your question for a future episode.